clear to me that Republican legislators want to talk about everything else except guns.
So apparently in Minnesota, Governor Tim Walz is having a full-on meltdown because Republicans said they're not going to vote on his gun control bill. According to Breitbart, Walz stood up in front of reporters like he was announcing a new Marvel villain and declared, "It's not acceptable that Republicans won't even allow a vote on high-capacity magazine bans." Bruh, not acceptable? That sounds like something a toddler says when you take away his iPad. And here's the kicker. When Democrats are in charge, they pull this same move all the time. You try to get a vote on expanding gun rights, they'll shut that thing down so fast you think you just tried to stream UFC without paying for it. But the second Republicans block a gun ban, now it's democracy is in a crisis. Please, please, miss me with this.
I guess there was a line in the sand. I was told by Republican leadership that there would never be a vote on guns. There wouldn't be a vote on gun bans. And that's not acceptable reaching a compromise, because I said, provide us what you need to talk about this. I think what's going on now is those legislators are being contacted by the families impacted at Annunciation, and I think those conversations should happen. I don't disagree with the leader that you want to have broader conversation about this, but that's not how this works. The leadership gets together, we lay out parameters, and then we bring in the other legislators. But it's clear to me that Republican legislators want to talk about everything else except guns and healthcare costs and the farm crisis and try and distract from that. So I will express that the talks are ongoing. I remain open to a deal where we can come in and get something done. My only thing was, as I asked for a floor vote on high-capacity magazines and assault weapons, and just let the members vote on it. And if they believe that's a bad idea, which obviously they do, the Republican legislators believe it's a bad idea, then you can simply vote no. And I said, if you want to bring bills forward on mental health, we've done it before and they voted against it, but if they're willing to vote for it now, I'm supportive of that, but we're going to talk about guns.
You see, this is what I mean. He's acting like Republicans are ducking some sacred national debate. No, Tim, they just don't want to play your little Hunger Games of gun control politics. He says, I only asked for a floor vote on high-capacity magazines. Yeah, and I only asked Lamborghini if I could test drive a Revuelto for free. Doesn't mean I'm getting it. Well, actually, that's exactly what I did, and that's exactly what I got. They actually let me have it. I actually did a video on the Revuelto. So if you like cars the way that I love cars, the way that I love guns, if you love cars the same way I love guns, or love guns the same way I love cars, the channel is called Lifestyle Noir, so you can go check that out. But anyway, back to what I was saying. What he's really saying is, I need my viral clip moment. I need to stand at the podium, look sad, and blame Republicans so I can tweet out a highlight reel later. Because let's be real, criminals in Minneapolis don't give a damn about your floor vote. The carjacker isn't scrolling the Minnesota legislator website like, oh damn, they banned mags over 10 rounds. Better head to Cabela's for compliance parts. And let's kill this whole Republicans don't want to have the conversation thing. That's not true. Republicans just don't want to have your conversation, because your conversation is the same Netflix reboot we've seen all before. Ban this, regulate that, make it harder for law-abiding people to do what criminals ignore anyway. That's not a conversation. That's a rerun. And it's not even a good rerun. It's like watching Friends without the laugh track. You want a real conversation? Fine. Let's talk about why violent criminals keep getting kicked back out onto the streets. Let's talk about why every city with the strictest gun laws still have some of the worst gun crimes. Let's talk about how to actually punish criminals without treating law-abiding gun owners like the villain in your bad political drama. But nah, Walz doesn't want that smoke, because that conversation doesn't give him headlines. Here's my favorite part. When politicians like Walz feel unsafe, what do? They surround themselves with more guns, armed security, police detail, SWAT if needed. When they feel threatened, the solution is always more firepower. But when you feel threatened, or when I feel threatened, oh no, suddenly the story changes. You don't need that many rounds, citizen. 10 bullets should be just enough. Just call 911. Right, because we all know calling 911 during a home invasion is like ordering Uber Eats in a thunderstorm. Might get there in time, might not. The truth is, Democrats act like they've got the moral high ground because they're restricting something. Like, look at us, we're serious because we're taking rights away. That's not serious. That's lazy. That's the political version of saying unplug it and plug it back in. If you actually cared about safety, the conversation wouldn't be how many rounds can we ban? It would be how do we make sure dangerous people can't keep walking free? It would be how do we enforce the laws we already have? But no, that doesn't fit the campaign slogan. So instead we get this performance art where Walz pretends like banning mags is the same as curing cancer. Spoiler alert, it's not. Look, Tim, Republicans blocking your magazine ban isn't not acceptable. It's not unfair. It's not a crisis of democracy. It's literally just politics. It's the same exact game your party plays every single time you're in charge. So save the fake outrage, because at the end of the day, the only people who benefit from your little magazine ban stunt are criminals, because they'll ignore it, and politicians, because they get to look like they did something. Meanwhile, law-abiding citizens like me and the rest of us, we're the ones left more vulnerable, less protected, and more dependent on the same government that can't even keep the farm crisis and healthcare costs under control, like you mentioned in this damn clip. So yeah, Tim, Republicans not voting on your magazine ban isn't the end of democracy, it's the beginning of accountability. And what's really not acceptable is politicians like you pretending that our rights are bargaining chips in your little game of political theater. And in case you're wondering, because I know you were thinking this throughout the entire video, what the hell is that on my hat? What does it say? I'm gonna leave a link actually in the description section of this video so you can go and check out what this actually means. I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna say it in a comment, but either way, I'm sure you're gonna want it along with it and on a shirt, on a hoodie, on this hat, on drinkware. So hit the link, and then when you figure out what it says, go ahead and buy one. Same thing with the shirt. Defend America. Yeah, click the link. One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.